Hey friends, Jessica here with Creators Couture with a quick tutorial recap. So this tutorial was actually a two-parter and I will link both of them below, but it was a lot of fun and I really loved how it turned out. So in this case, what my jumping off point was this artwork that I saw recently in a museum in Nice. It was at the Musée des Beaux-Arts and I really loved this painting. The woman kind of reminds me of like Klimt or something, but I think it was an Oriental sort of exposition. I'm not 100% sure. But what I loved was I love like rich colors, drama. I loved all the gold. I loved the red sort of velvet effect, the brocade kind of pattern in the background, and even these leaves here, the gold leaves, it really kind of reminded me of something like Napoleon, like the coronation of Napoleon. So I just thought it was a very elegant, cool thing to reference. So what I ended up doing was creating these frame designs based on that, and I think it came out well. But I wanted to play with that leaf motif and also that red sort of velvety effect. So I achieved that through Photoshop brushes. So here's kind of one of my scrap files, and I'm always kind of creating this just so that I kind of establish the vibe. So I'll play around with brushes. So for example, this is like a modern impressionist brush with some red. Here's like oh gosh, a texture brush that I had created, and I included that in the file. So if you're a Behance subscriber, this tutorial has a lot of resources. Here we've got a modern impressionist, no, not modern impressionist, a modern Renaissance brocade brush with some gold applied, a gold play brush, and then I've got some modern impressionist in the background. So just playing around with that. But one of the key things that I did for this was to create these leaves. And I'm always looking to do things as easy as possible. So what I did was I made 4 leaves to begin with, and then I turned them into Adobe Illustrator brushes, and I turned them into art brushes, and then I painted them into like a little cluster of brushes, and then I turned that into an art brush. So that's a really easy way that I don't have to go all over and create all of these by hand. So I love using Adobe Illustrator art brushes as a quite a hack for repeated elements in my design that I don't want to redraw again, but it's much better than the Puppet Warp tool. So um, you can drop this image into Adobe Illustrator, turn it into an art brush, and then you can paint that and it can really curve and really do like amazing things. So I created these leaves with gold play brush and then a little bit of the 24 karat gold brushes as like accent. And then I dropped them into Illustrator and created that. And so from there, then I had that frame that I created in Illustrator and I brought it back in here into Photoshop. And then I just created all the different brushes to go along with it using my multicolor impressionist brush technique. This one was using a mixer brush technique to create that sort of a velour sort of stroke. So I really liked that. And I included those brushes in this tutorial. And I also threw in a little like, oh, just some little sparkle and stuff with some of the brushes. But I will link all the brushes that I use down below. And then even here, I used one of my loose watercolor brushes in red. So I liked that. The live one, I think I skipped that. But just two different options anyway. It looks very regal. It looks very noble. I just think it looks quite cool. And then here you can see some peaks of my modern Renaissance brushes. And these are some of the palettes that I used. I actually used some of my, for example, this is a creative couture uh, texture that I created, but I actually use that as a wet brush palette. So you get all of my tips and tricks and everything. And yeah, huge file of downloads for subscribers. So that's it. Check out the full tutorials down below and let me know if you have any questions, and I will see you on my next tutorial or tutorial recap.